Welcome to Restaurant Influencers presented by Entrepreneur. I am your host, Sean Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ media production. In life, in the restaurant business, and in the new creator economy, we learn through lessons and stories. I can't tell you how excited I am for today's episode. I'm so grateful to Toast, who is our primary technology partner, for believing in this show. So we have our barbecue restaurants in San Diego, and I came to them with this crazy idea to turn our barbecue business into a media business, create a show where we can have the best storytellers on earth, the best people in hospitality on earth, come into the show and share their secrets. Today, I have an amazing family. If you do not know Fresco by Scotto, you will know about them after this show. If you go to New York, this is the restaurant to be. 30 years they have been in business. I have Rosanna Scotto and Jenna Ruggiero. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Sean. We're honored to be on your show, and congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'll begin this by letting you know that we have a barbecue business in San Diego. We've been here for 16 years, and there got to a point where I was worried that we weren't getting any media coverage. And lo and behold, 16 years later, now we have our own media company, and I get to interview someone like you that I have so much respect for, and we're going to get into it. So I'm going to start with go ahead.
I just want to say something. I'm a little uncomfortable that you've turned the tables on me today. And I am going to try to deal with it as best as I can. I may take over and start asking you questions. So I would okay with that.
I would expect nothing less. This is a conversation. And if you're new to the show, welcome. Our job and our goal is to think differently in the hospitality business. As we all know, restaurants are very hard to run. And we have the gift. We have the gift of the internet, where I get to connect to amazing entrepreneurs that are running significant businesses. And you, the listener, you, the viewer, get a front row seat. So you get a front row seat. And we're going to start with, where in the world is your favorite stadium, stage, or venue?
Okay.
Jen, you go first.
But it's not hospitality related.
No, anything.
Okay. Anything. So one of my favorite concert experiences ever was when my mom and I went to this festival in Hyde Park, and it was the Hyde Park Summer Stage in London. And we saw Florence and the Machine perform there. And we just had an incredible night. It was sunset. The stage looked like giant trees in the middle of the park. It was pretty fantastic.
Hyde Park, beautiful. And for you?
Well, there's so many, living in New York City, we're so lucky because we get to see so many wonderful musical acts in New York, from, Sir Paul McCartney to Billy Joel. But last summer, my daughter and I took a road trip together. We went to Philly and we saw Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks perform together. And that was so much fun. And we got backstage, we talked to Billy Joel, and it was amazing.
That is so cool. Well, I don't know which one to pick, but we're going to pick one of them. How about we go to Hyde Park?
Okay.
So we're gonna set the stage. We're going to go to Hyde Park. We're going to invite hospitality professionals from all over the globe. I'll talk to Entrepreneur. I'll talk to Toast. But I'm going to bring you guys on center stage, and I'm going to give you the mic. And I'd like to preface it by, bring me back to your mother mortgaging the family home to start the restaurant. Can you bring me back to when absolutely. That was, and tell us the story.
It was over 30 years ago. It was around 1993. The world was still a little shaky. The economy in New York was still fluctuating. We were coming out of a big economic dip. And my brothers were in LA, and my mother thought, wouldn't it be fun to get your brothers back to New York, and we'll open up a family restaurant. And I was always working in TV news. Jenna was just a little baby at that point, and we would take her. I'll get to that part. But so we started looking around for restaurants in New York City. My brothers thought they would come back, and it was expensive. And my mother said, okay, it's not just your brother's place anymore. Now it's a family venture. This is going to be the family business. She mortgaged the house in Brooklyn. My father was on the fence about it. They were near retirement age. And all their friends were saying, are you crazy? Restaurants, can basically go out of business in a year. This is a time where you can kind of sit back and relax. And my mom was adamant. We went to a clairvoyant who told her, this is really funny. She went to a clairvoyant, I was there with her, who told her, you should absolutely do this. You're going to have presidents, royalty, celebrities. It's going to be a success. And so my mother totally bought into it. And we had presidents, celebrities, royalty.
Oh my goodness.
And everybody from Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and anybody around the world that comes to New York and wants a great Italian-American meal.
That is amazing. What a way to set the stage. I mean, the restaurant, when I was doing the research of who's who has been to your restaurant, I mean, it's more of who hasn't been to your restaurant.
Right. Okay. Who hasn't?
Who hasn't?
Jenna,
who do you want? Who do you want? Who do you
list?
want to add to the
I
list?
would love to have Prince Harry come.
Okay.
Wait, doesn't Jenna look like Meghan Markle a little bit?
She does. She does. Maybe we can get Prince Harry to come. That
I
would
don't
be
know. He
amazing.
might like me. I don't know.
Jenna, I'd love to ask, I grew up, so many of our listeners, restaurateurs, we grew up in the family business. I never thought I would be back in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
When did you come back into the restaurant business?
So when I was growing up, I used to hostess here during the summers. Like
How
when I was
old?
in
How old?
college. High school.
High school. Okay.
But my
Nice.
grandmother fired me because one day in the middle of a lunch rush, I got a little hungry. So I ran back to the kitchen. I asked the chef, can you make me a quick pasta? I thought I ate it very quickly. Came back to the host desk, and my grandmother, meanwhile, was like, where's Jenna? Where's Jenna? There was no hostess at the front to seat this like hundreds of people. So she asked me not to come back. So it wasn't until
Did you cry? Were you how did you feel?
No, I was young. I was young, and I didn't predict. I went into the music industry after college, so I didn't predict that I would be back in hospitality. And then 2 years ago, my aunt asked me, they need to come back. They needed help. And since then, it started passion for hospitality that I didn't know I had in me.
That is amazing. Do you remember your mother firing your daughter?
I did, and I thought it was a great life lesson. So if you can't learn a good firing from your family, everybody needs to be fired at least once.
If you have,
a
restaurant's a great business to do it. Can you share a little bit about opening the restaurant and being in the news?
Sure. So when we first opened, as I mentioned, economically, it was, a crazy time in New York. And there weren't a lot of restaurants opening up. In fact, when my mom got the keys from the landlord, he wasn't so sure about her. And the restaurateur that had it before my mom was sitting in the meeting when the landlord handed the keys to my mother. And he basically said to the old restaurateur, if it doesn't work out for her, I'm giving you back the keys. This is how we started our business.
Wow.
So we had a lot of motivation to kind of show people that we could do it. So what we did was, at that point, like, my sister was in the fashion business. My mom was in Brooklyn politics. I was in the TV business. We all invited our friends for a lot of friends and family nights. It got the word out so quickly that the New York Times food critic at the time was Ruth Reichel. She came in. We were open a week.
Wow.
She came in and she reviewed us. She gave us 2 stars, which at that point was like we were on the map. People were coming from everywhere. There were not a lot of restaurants opening at that time. The lines were out the door. And I remember my mother was very accommodating in those days. If you wanted a 7:30 reservation, she didn't want to say no to you. Come on in at 7:30. Well, 200 people at 7:30 is a problem.
Yes.
One night, my sister got so nervous, she hyperventilated because there were so many people waiting to get in. We had to call an ambulance for my sister.
Wow.
But we learned very quickly about how to take reservations, and not everybody can come at 7:30.
I
But
would.
Graham, till the day she stopped taking reservations, Graham never said no. No
I
matter
would
what time,
love.
no matter what day. We could be closed. She'd still say, come in.
I would love to know, how do you manage the reservations with the celebrities and politicians and friends that you have? Because there's got to be a public facing line, and then there's the text line like, hey, by the way, can you get me?
Well, it's very funny because I kind of take after my mother. And this past Saturday night, we had a few hundred people. And I called Jenna like Saturday morning and I'm like, I need the front table for 11 people. She's like, no. I'm like, I don't care what you say. You're just moving those people to another table. I need that table for 11 people. Somehow it all works out in
It
the end.
does. It
Yeah.
does. That's magic. And how now, Jenna, that you have come along and built systems. I mean, we talk a lot about technology. Obviously, Toast is a sponsor of the show, and systems now that we have digitally to run our restaurant. You know, our restaurant, when back when we opened, even when we opened in 2008, we didn't have half of the tools that we use now. Can you talk about some of the systems that you put in place?
Totally. We use Resi for our reservations
Cool.
platform, and we use Toast for our POS. And
Oh, awesome. I didn't know that. Fantastic.
yeah, we love Toast here. I just integrated Resi with Toast.
Nice.
So now Resi updates according to the course that the diners are on. So it gives the front desk a better idea of, when we'll get the table back.
That's really cool. Can you share a little bit about the scene? Paint the picture of the restaurant, because you guys have such a vibrant Instagram. My wife is from Bulgaria, and when I go back to Bulgaria, one of the things that I love the most is the village restaurants where people dance. Like they
Yes.
eat, they dance, and they don't go anywhere. They spend their time there. And I think it's such a magical thing what you guys have created. And we'll put links to your Instagram in here, but can you share a little bit about what happens in the restaurant?
Yeah. So during the week, it's different than our weekend crowd. During the week, it's a power lunch scene, power dinner scene, mostly corporate people, some families, but they're in and out like this. We have high turnover of tables. And then Friday and Saturday night, since the pandemic, we've had a DJ come in Friday and Saturday night, and it turns into a dance party. So we try to turn tables, but people want to stay for the party all night. And they get wild. They get on the tables, they get on the chairs, everybody's having a good time, and it's fun.
I just want to say one thing. We do not encourage standing on our chairs and our banquettes. So some lady with the biggest stilettos last weekend decided that she was getting on our banquette. She made so many damn holes.
Oh,
that
no.
we had to call the upholsterer the next day. She cost us a lot of money to fix the banquette.
Oh my goodness. Can you share about the decor? About the flowers, about the lemon tree, about the
Yes.
ambiance that you
So
created?
what happened was, like many restaurants across the country, during the pandemic, we all had to close down. We got a chance to open up a few months after the pandemic. It must have been August of September of 2020. We reopened very modestly. Nobody wanted to come back. We were in Midtown Manhattan. It was dead. There was nobody working in that area. And frankly, New York was not even there. People had head for the hills and Hudson Valley, or they were in the Hamptons, or they had gone to Florida. New York was empty. We wound up closing down December of 2020. And my sister and I really put our heads together and we said, we have really one more shot to reopen. That's all we had the money for. We had to make it good. And our friend Larry Scott of Lawrence Scott Events is a party planner, is event planner. And we went to him and said, we need magic. We need your magic. We need to transform this place into Italy. We want to feel like we're going to Capri without the hassle of getting on a plane and going to Europe right now. And so our backyard, our outdoor shed is magical. It's lemon trees and fresh flowers. And then we incorporated that into our dining room.
Wow.
So you feel if Yeah, can you see a little
There
bit
it
of it
is.
now? That's the big
Beautiful.
lemon tree.
I love it.
And what you can see is in the front of our, as soon as you walk into the door inside our restaurant, Larry just brought us the most gorgeous hydrangeas. Like we're like an abundance of pink and purple and white hydrangeas. Our outdoors are lemon and hydrangeas, and I don't know, flowers I don't even know the names for, but they're everywhere. And the staff has to water them every day. They're not happy, but it's but when people come in, it sets the tone. It sets the tone of their meal and their experience. Flowers make people happy, and we've created a little magic.
And now a quick break from restaurant influencers to welcome our newest sponsor to the show. It's Zach Oates, the founder of Ovation.
Ovation is helping restaurants to improve operations with the human touch. We are a guest experience platform for multi-unit restaurants like Friendly's, Muya, PDQ, Taziki's, and even Cali Barbecue, with thousands of others, that starts with a 2-question survey and drives revenue, location level improvement, and guest recovery. So here's how it works. The guest answers 2 questions. The first one is, how was your experience? And then from there, happy guests are invited to do things that are going to drive revenue, and unhappy guests share privately what went wrong, so you and your team can resolve that concern in real time. Our AI will even help you do that. Then the magic happens. We take all the public reviews, we take all the Ovation feedback, we categorize it using our AI, and give you detailed feedback in 34 restaurant-specific categories to improve your operations. So we make sure that guests feel good, that you look good. And if you're interested in learning more, visit ovationup.com/Sean, because any listener of Sean's is a friend of Ovation's.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely incredible. And you guys do such a great job online of showcasing that and really bringing somebody that is over here on the West Coast in San Diego. It makes me feel like that I'm part of it. And that's the magic of social media. Jenna, I would love to hear about your first time going on your mother's news channel to promote the restaurant.
To promote the restaurant. Okay, I thought you were going to say ever, because the first time ever.
Well, let's talk about ever. Sure, go ahead. Let's start there.
First time ever, I would hide underneath her desk when she was doing the 10 o'clock news. And at the end, I'd pop up, and what would I do, Mom? Just say hello?
Hello. At the end, when I'd say, and that's it for the 10 o'clock news, I'm Rosanna Scotto, then this little person would come out from underneath the desk.
That's fantastic.
And then as far as Fresco goes, I don't know, throughout the years when my family was on cooking shows, I'd help occasionally. And then it's such an easy vehicle for me to go on my mom's show and promote the restaurant. We'll make recipes. We're about to go on the Sherry Shepherd show next week. And it's fun.
I'm just so fascinated that from Rosanna, from your perspective, as always interviewing the chef or interviewing the restaurateur, but then having your daughter come on and and letting her go. Like, you know, I was looking at the most recent National Meatball Day where she's sharing grandma's meatball recipe, and
Right.
to go from the host, but it's also your business.
It's also, it's a slippery slope. It's a very interesting position to be in, but I enjoy it, and I've been doing it for so long that it kind of feels natural. In the beginning, some people would say, well, you need to say that that's your restaurant. If you don't know by now that that's my restaurant, it's 30 years. Like, how many times do I have to tell you?
Yes. Can you share some tips for our audience? We have a lot of restaurateurs that listen. What tips do you have for people that do a really good job when they get a chance to go on local news or national news?
Okay, they need to practice. And my daughter and I do this. Even, we're going to prepare for Sherry's show. We'll talk about the recipe, what she'll basically say, what I'll basically say. Keep it tight, make it simple. When you're doing a recipe on TV, we can't see every step. Nobody's sitting at home with a paper and pen. They want to get the feeling. They want to know, the finished product. They want to know that it's easy enough to do. So just make it simple, 3 steps, throw it in the pot, cook it up, finish plate. That's it.
who is your most memorable chef or restaurateur that's come on your show?
We've had a lot of great people from Martha Stewart to Mario Carbone. And they're all different but they all have the same quality, which is they know how to tell a good story in a short amount of time.
Good story in a short amount of time. That is key for news, for sure.
Yeah.
For when you think about the family business, share a little bit about some of the challenges about running a family business, especially a restaurant business.
Okay, so it's difficult to run a family business, right? Because you're with each other 24/7, vacation together, meals outside of the restaurant together. We would have times where we would say tonight is not a night to talk business, because you can get into a food fight over how things are run, what someone didn't do or did do. So, I mean, it's a lot of give and take. It's wonderful when you can share the highs with your family. And then it gets very stressful when you're in a bad situation, when, reservations are not coming in and you're second guessing yourself on why things are not running as properly as you want them to be. But I will say I love it. I'm so happy I'm working with my daughter. We've only had about 10 fights since it's
No, I think it's so easy working with you, Mom. I would say we barely fought over it.
Because sometimes you don't talk to me.
I think it's great because my mom supports me in every decision I make. So when I need the firepower behind me, she brings the big guns. And I think it's easier just us two rather than having an extended family members involved.
Right. At one point, there were more people involved in the restaurant, but who's moved here and there. And, my mom, who comes into the restaurant every day, she's now just enjoying the lunches and dinners and not, putting her 2 cents in on how things are running.
Yeah.
So Jenna, you were an executive producer for an award-winning show. Is that correct? Podcast?
Wrongful conviction. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you share a little bit with our audience? We're obviously huge fans of storytelling, and we believe that every business has the opportunity now because of the internet to publish stories. But can you tell us a little bit about your experience as a producer?
At the time, I was working at Lava Records for the CEO, Jason Flom, and I was his director of creative operations. So anything outside of the record label, I was the point person. And Jason is obsessed with criminal justice reform, very involved with the Innocence Project and getting wrongfully convicted people out of prison. And so he wanted to give a voice to these people who have been locked up for decades in prison for crimes they didn't commit, and broadcast it to as many people possible. So we started a podcast called Wrongful Conviction. And we would go to prisons, interview people who were currently incarcerated, as well as people who have gotten out with the help of the Innocence Project or organizations like them. And the people, every episode, they would blow me away. Their grace, their resilience, it was like mind-blowing how they went through what they went through and still came out and not angry, and just really admirable people.
Was it also a video production or audio only?
It was audio only.
Have you ever been interested in doing video production? You and your mom?
Are you trying to hire her?
No, I'm trying to get you guys to do your own show. There should be a family show. Like, you have all the talent you need. You have all the stories within the walls of your restaurant.
You're right. We do a little Scotto Sisters live on Instagram.
I've seen
Mondays at 4:30. During COVID, we started doing it every day as a way to kind of connect with my family, and then it became a greater community. And now we continue it once a week on Mondays at 4:30 live on Instagram.
Do you think there's any
so it's audio visual?
Yeah. Do you think it's possible that you guys would have a show in the future? Family show?
We're open. Sean, you don't You got a production company.
We
Help us
do.
out.
We do.
Help us sister
I think
out.
you guys would have a phenomenal show. Absolutely phenomenal show. Let's talk about the tough times because it's easy to talk about the good times. Tell us about some of the challenges you faced. 30 years in business. I think it's so remarkable. It's so admirable. We've been in business for 16 years. It's coming up like in a week. It'll be 16 years for us. And we think that every day we're grateful. We're grateful to still be in the game and to still be playing. And I'd love to hear about some of the tough times where you kind of like, are we really doing this?
Well, before COVID even hit, our numbers were down in the restaurant. We definitely took a downturn. For what reason, I'm not really sure, except, listen, New York is a very competitive place and people like to try new restaurants. And so they may not come to us all the time. And we felt it. We really felt it. My parents were putting money back into the restaurant to keep it afloat. Otherwise, we would have gone out of business. And we were, I'm going to say that we all had a difference of opinion on how the restaurant should be operated. And, since I have a day job, I work Good Day New York, I had the least amount of say. Even though I was, I went to restaurants, I saw what other people were doing, I wanted to incorporate different ideas. I was being outvoted at that time on any ideas I came up with. And it looked like at one point that we were going to close. We had a lot of problems. But then COVID gave us no choice and we closed, and it was a time to reevaluate. We had time to sit at home, think about what we had done in the past and how we were going to move forward. And a lot of time. And over a few bottles of wine, we came up with a new vision, a new menu, a new outlook, a new way to kind of put together the restaurant, and it's working.
What's the plans for the future?
We definitely want to branch out. Jen and I have been talking about that. Maybe another restaurant somewhere else in New York or in another state. But we're definitely thinking about branching out, and maybe doing not quite. Fresco is a beautiful sit-down restaurant where you can come in and have a steak, or you can have, a pasta and a pizza. We also thought about doing more casual places with maybe more pizza, more pastas, and maybe one piece of fish rather than 3 pieces of fish, 1 steak, 2 lamb chops, 1 veal chop, to really like make the menu a little bit smaller, curate it smaller, but to put all our favorites on.
Jenna, let's pretend that your mom's not here in this interview. I'd love for you to share. Tell me a story about something that you've learned that you didn't know when you were younger, because so many of the lessons, when I think of my grandfather, he was my driving force. I never met him as a father, but he gives me so much inspiration. I remember resisting some of the lessons as I was growing up, and then now I'm like, oh, that's why he cared so much. Can you share a story? Pretend like she's not here.
It's so hard because honestly, I learn from her every day. She's my biggest inspiration. But one thing that's coming to mind now is that confidence is your most important asset when being in the front of the restaurant. And I am naturally a shy person. It's not in my nature to be outgoing. I struggle with it. And I am learning how to be more outgoing and introducing myself and getting things done. And I realize that the more I do it, the more confident I'm becoming and the better reactions I'm getting. And confidence is key.
Confidence is key. And Rosanna, I'd love to hear something that your mother taught you.
Just gonna get emotional. I know, I almost started crying too, talking about you.
She's something else. Well, first of all, I'm sorry. She mortgaged the house. She mortgaged the house. I mean, I can't imagine mortgaging my house now for my kids. I love them, but I would never friggin' mortgage the house for them. So she was fearless and still is fearless. So I've learned, you have to take a risk or two to be successful.
Do you have a story that you can share with us? A fun
Uh,
story of her in the restaurant?
well,
I'm sure,
there's so many darn
I'm
stories.
sure there's thousands.
There's so many darn stories. I mean, she she loves people. She loves packing them in. And we've had people from like Jeff Bezos come in, and sometimes she's not up to date on current people. You know what I mean? If Frank Sinatra walked in, she'd know Frank Sinatra. Jeff Bezos, she may not. She'll put him in the back, the very back that he can see into the kitchen.
It's fantastic.
She didn't recognize him.
That's so great. Any advice that you've given over the years? I'm sure you have so many people in your circle that they see what you've done and they see what you've built. And they say, how can I want to open up a restaurant. What advice do you give them?
Well, it takes a lot of work, I will tell you that, and constant nurturing the restaurant. Like I said, for years, I was kind of on the outskirts of it, but now it's just Jenna and I running the restaurant. So there's a lot of day-to-day stuff that Jenna, thank goodness, handles. I come in for like the big problems once a week. But it's, we taste, we eat our food. And I have to say, if I don't like it, you're not going to like it. I don't like the clams. I want other clams. I mean, I am very involved in the menu. Like if you look at my sister, she has no body fat. Okay. I have body fat to go around for the whole family because I eat everything on the menu. And I think that's part of it. Like you have to love food. You have to love people. It goes hand in hand because it makes everybody happy.
Jenna, what advice would you have on social media, Instagram, marketing?
Yeah, I was just going to add to what my mom is saying and say that Instagram can be a really valuable tool. When I started working here 2 years ago, we had 25,000 Instagram followers, and I grew it. We're now at 70,000.
So awesome job.
And so many customers see us on Instagram from across the states, from across the world, see us on Instagram, see the dancing videos, and they're like, we want to go to that place. So not just showcasing the food, but also showcasing if you have a really spectacular ambiance or people are dancing or the crowd's really lively. Showcase all aspects of your restaurant to create such an inviting atmosphere that people want to go to it.
Can you guys talk a little bit about the team? How do you hire? What do you look for?
So obviously we look for people with some experience. Our top management team has a lot of experience. We're lucky we just hired a great operational guy, Peter Smith. Ciprian is our manager along with Rita and Marco. Did I miss anybody, Jenna?
No.
Okay. And they are the people that make everybody feel comfortable when they walk in that restaurant. Jenna greets them with the biggest smile you've ever seen. And then they bring that warmth with them into the dining room and make everybody feel comfortable. Like we consider Fresco by Scotto an extension of our home. And everybody has to be in a good mood. I don't care what's going on in your life. When somebody comes into that restaurant, they don't want to know your problems. They want a great time, a great experience, a great meal. And everybody's on the same page about how that gets done. And Jen, talk about how you train the staff and what they have to know about the specials and the ingredients.
Totally. So, we do regular menu tastings and menu tests for the staff to make sure that they're up to par with the menu. But also, we're known for our spectacular service at the restaurant. And almost all the reviews, besides the food, are about how attentive the staff is. So when we're hiring servers, we really want to make sure that they're not just order takers, but they can provide that level of service to make the customer want to come back more, to make them take a step back and be like, wow, they're anticipating my needs before I even vocalize them. And that's just quality some people have and some people don't. I think also willingness to learn is an important thing we look for. Since my mom and I started our venture together, we're really revolutionizing the restaurant. We're implementing new technology, we're hiring new people. And so because the restaurant's like evolving into the future, I want to make sure the staff can keep up with it.
I would love to talk about the next generation. You a new mom?
Well, we need some younger people, and there's always been, nieces and nephews. I have a son who also is very, very charismatic. He has dabbled in the restaurant business. Right now, he's saying he's staying away from us, maybe because Jen and I are running the place. I'm not sure, but there are nieces and nephews who say right now they'd rather just come dine, but you never know. We need another generation. We're on the third generation. Jen is it, but there's not a fourth generation yet. But we're working on that.
Not yet. We're working on that.
Not yet.
You talk about community, what it's like to. I mean, because as restaurateurs, we give back always. Our job is to take care of our village, to take care of our community, take care of our city. I'm sure there's been amazing things that you guys have done for the city of New York. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, of course. Obviously, we do whatever we possibly can, and one of the charities that we're very involved with is God's Love We Deliver, and we do an event in October where we do this really fun lunch. And everybody has a great time, but all the money raised, all of it goes to God's Love We Deliver that day. And everybody knows, they get to learn a little bit about the charity. And God's Love We Deliver, I don't know if you know about it. It started off many years ago as a lifeline for people who had AIDS and no food. They were home, they could not get out, they could not nourish themselves. And so God's Love We Delivered brought these home-cooked meals to people who were basically shut-ins. And now, obviously, it's evolved to helping those in need in our city. And sadly, there's so many people who don't have the essentials to eat every day. So God's Love You Deliver, we support.
That's really cool. Jenna, is there anything that you guys have coming up when you look back at this interview, when we're thinking big, thinking into the future? I know we talked about expansion plans, but anything that you would love to let us know?
Yeah, so in the immediate future, we just opened our first Monday dinner yesterday. So
Sweet.
we are now open for dinner Monday through Saturday, lunch Tuesday through Thursday. And we are implementing our new aperitivo hour from 4:30 to 6 every day with this delicious small bites menu that I personally could eat every day, but I try not to, otherwise I'd gain 25 pounds. Featuring Mama Scotto's meatball sliders and these delicious cocktails called the Fresco Affair and other cocktails. 4:30 to 6, Monday through Friday.
Amazing. So we believe that every person that's listening to this, they have the power of connecting with people all over the world. Smartphone storytelling is what we call it. We like to do a little segment to find out about your smartphone storytelling. So I haven't had two people do the segment. So I'm going to start with Rosanna. Are you an iPhone or an Android user?
iPhone.
Which version?
The latest. What is that, 15?
Okay. Do you always update your software?
Yes.
You prefer texts or emails?
I'm not telling you because then you're going to friggin' text me.
I won't text you.
Send me an email.
Email? How many emails do you get a day?
Hundreds.
How many do you enjoy reading?
3.
Do you leave voicemails?
I do, especially to my kids. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
endorse them.
It's your mother. That's all she says.
That's it.
That's it. It's your mother.
That means call me back right
So,
away.
no, yeah, that's what that means.
Fantastic. And do you listen to music on your phone?
No,
No. Which map app do you use? Apple
Waze.
Maps, Waze. Oh, nice. Do you prefer photos or videos?
both.
Both.
Yes.
Do you
If you follow me,
do you take more photos or take more videos?
I'll probably take more photos. But if you follow me at Rosanna Scotto on Instagram, you see that I do stories every day and I
do.
post.
You do a phenomenal job on Instagram. We'll put links to your Instagram handle. Is
Thank
that your
you.
favorite social app?
It is. It is.
is.
You know, my daughter wanted me to do TikTok. How many things can I do? How many
All you
things?
need to do, you're already doing photos and videos. Don't worry. You're already doing it. You already have the
I don't
content.
have time for this. I need to live life.
You're living an amazing life. Jenna, are you Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Latest version?
No, I think I have the 14.
The 14, you update your software?
I do.
You
And
prefer-
it updates for you if you choose not to.
This is
So
true.
I think
Do
everybody
you-
updates their software.
You would think, one would think. Do you prefer text or emails?
Text.
Text or phone calls?
Text.
How many emails do you get a day?
Hundreds.
How many do you enjoy reading?
20.
That's a lot of emails.
If they're informative and useful to me, I enjoy reading it.
Do you leave your mother voicemails?
No. If she doesn't answer when I call, I text her. I called you back.
And do you listen to music on your phone?
All the time.
Which app do you use?
Apple Music because it pays the artists more.
Ah, good to know. Apple Music. There you go. And then which map app do you use?
The Apple built-in or Google Maps.
And photos or videos?
Equal balance.
Equal balance?
Yeah.
Which is your favorite social app?
Instagram.
Instagram. You guys are absolutely amazing. Is there anything that you'd like to leave our audience with? We've got restaurateurs, we have creators, we have marketing professionals, people in the technology space, but I'm so inspired by your story. I'm so grateful that you guys joined us. Is there anything you'd like to leave us with?
We're grateful. We're grateful to have this opportunity to talk to you, Sean. We're grateful to have a wonderful restaurant, a beautiful family, most importantly, and wonderful people who come into our restaurant and want to have a good time.
That's amazing. And my name is Sean Walchef. You can find me at Sean P. Walchef on all the social platforms. We care about you. We care about your story. Please reach out to us, and please, Fresco by Scotto, give them a follow. We're going to put links into the show notes. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you both so much for joining us. As always, stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We'll catch you guys next week. Thank you for listening to Restaurant Influencers. If you want to get in touch with me, I am weirdly available at Sean P. Walchef, ShawnPWalchef. Cali Barbecue Media has other shows. You can check out Digital Hospitality. We've been doing that show since 2017. We also just launched a show, season 2, Family Style, on YouTube with Toast. And if you are a restaurant brand or a hospitality brand and you're looking to launch your own show, Cali Barbecue Media can help you. Recently, we just launched Room for Seconds with Greg Majewski. It is an incredible insight into leadership, into hospitality, into enterprise restaurants and franchisee relationships. Take a look at Room for Seconds. And if you're ready to start a show, reach out to us, betheshow.media. We can't wait to work with you.